Phil Brown has the advantage going into this run, and he wants to win this race so badly after being knocked out in the round of 8 a few weeks ago in Vail at the Pepe Gromsheimer Cup, and he can taste the victory.
But look what he's up against, Mark. Cone has won the last 2 World Pro Ski Tour events in a row.
All right, it's time now for the race. We got Phil Brown on the red course, Robert Cone on the blue course, both vying for $10,000.
And the pressure is on. Brown is charging hard out of the start. Cone, gets a little bit forward and then off the jump goes twisted in the wrong way. Brown strikes the gate, it throws him off balance, and he goes down.
And Phil Brown is so lucky he didn't get injured.
We're about to present the first ever Moose Barrows Trophy here at Hallison Hill. Moose, will you do the honors?
Robert, congratulations for winning the first Super Slalom at Hallison, of many more to come.
Well, we are here at the Flatiron Subaru dealership in Boulder having our welcome party reception for the Colorado Pro Open this weekend.
Well, this is a welcome party for the racers and the sponsors and all the people interested in World Pro Skiing.
This race is taking place at Eldora Mountain. Eldora Mountain also has a great history. Eldora Mountain was and is the home of the CU ski team. The CU ski team was originally coached by Bobby Addy, who was also the founder of World Pro Skiing. So Bobby Addy coached Billy Kidd, coached Jimmy Huga to the first Olympic medals for American skiers, silver for Billy and a bronze for Jimmy Huga. And then later on, Bob went on to found the World Pro Ski Tour. So great history at Eldora, great history here with Billy Kidd, and we're happy to kick off a race at Eldora Mountain.
My coach at University of Colorado in the 60s started World Pro Skiing. So he had the first World Championships in Verbier, Switzerland in March of 1970. So I just won the FIS World Championships. 2 weeks later, went to Verbier and won the World Pro Championships. So my mom thought I was pretty good that year. So it was a pretty great opportunity, because now when you can do something that you love, and we all love ski racing, watching it is fun, but doing it is even better. And when you can make money, if you're good at it, wow, life can't get much better. We used to train up at Eldora, and it is a great place to have a race. And it's got a great history, so whoever wins the races up here is going to be carrying on a great tradition for Boulder and University of Colorado and the U.S. ski team and World Pro Skiing.
Part of the resurgence of the tour is not only giving away money, but the legacy and the history of the places that we go to. The history of Billy Kidd, the history of Bobby Eddy. Ed Rogers is here as well. Ed Rogers ran the tour for almost 20 years. So we really pulled the whole band back together to kick off the World Pro Ski Tour revitalization and resurgence this year.
John Franklin runs World Pro Skiing and taught Ted Ligety into coming to race in Steamboat, where I live, 2 weekends ago, and he had such a good time, he's coming back. So he's going to be racing up at Eldora, along with some of the top pro racers in the world. And it's going to be really exciting because the format is outstanding. You don't have to know anything about skiing. You just watch, and the racers are side by side, and then they go over a couple jumps, and it's the first one to the finish. You don't have to know anything about technique or the history of it. It is exciting. You may not have heard their name very much, but you will. And they are outstanding racers.
So Robert Cohn right now is the best pro racer in the world. He's won the last 3 races, which is unprecedented. So when I asked the guys, how do you think Ted Ligety is going to do? Ed Rogers said second, because Robert Cohn's going to win them all.
I might disagree with Ed Rogers because we just had a race 2 weeks ago in Steamboat, and Ted Ligety came and raced at that pro race, and we all thought he's going to win. Did he win?
He didn't win. He came in 4th. And then 1 week later in Atop in Switzerland, in the World Cup, on the toughest World Cup GS on the circuit, he missed being on the podium by 0.3 of a second. It was 6th fastest. So Ted Ligety is right in the hunt on the World Cup, and he's right in the hunt on the World Pro Ski Tour. So it's going to be really interesting this weekend.
If you think a tin shed can hold up like a tough shed, you're in for a big surprise.
After 38 years, our buildings speak for themselves. Dream, design, and build at toughshed.com.
Yeah, well, I heard the lights aren't very good. So, who was it? Phil? Oh, yeah, Phil, I think, said he trained up here the other day. He said he couldn't see the blue gates at all. So, that's pretty cool.
Okay, sweet. We're going up to Eldora, test out the ski race for tomorrow and do our qualifier run, and hopefully it's not too windy and snowy up there. Because it's looking a little rough.
Feeling pretty confident. Should be fun. We had some training the last few days, which were really good. Skied some panel slalom up in Vail. Garrett was crushing us in the soft snow, but hopefully today will be a little harder. Maybe I'll have a little better chance, but yeah, it'll be fun. I think it's gonna be a good venue, so I'm excited.
We did early season training in Copper with Montana State, and me and my sister, we drove down separately because I went down a little early to get some extra training in. And on the way back, we're going down I-80, and it's blowing like 70 miles an hour right directly across the highway, and we got our back end kicked on the Tacoma, and I was like, all right, don't overcorrect. And my sister double overhanding, and I'm like, oh, we're screwed. We were just doing 360s down I-80, going about 70 until we hit the only exit sign in Wyoming.
They crushed in their front left door, so they had to drive the remaining 8 hours with a crushed in door and no window.
Yeah, we stopped at the
like frigid cold.
We stopped at the next gas station, raided their dumpster for cardboard, shoved it in where the window was supposed to be, and then bought 2 rolls of duct tape and just duct taped everything else. I had a little sandwich bag from lunch that day, put it up so I could see the mirror if like there was a reflection, and drove 8 hours because my sister was sitting in the passenger seat now, just shaking. It was a lot of fun. Definitely the best way to make it back from Colorado to Bozeman.
So the wind shouldn't be too much of a big deal tomorrow because it's mostly sheltered, but the start ramp they built up pretty high, like 10 feet above where the normal ground level is. So we might be poking up above the trees, maybe get blown off the top. Hopefully it's a tailwind, but we'll see.
Your competitor's getting the same wind gust you are, so like that's better than a normal race where like if you get the wind gust, you just get absolutely smoked by everyone else in the field. So that's better.
Where do we park? Where are we?
I think that one. We want to go to the lodge, hopefully.
That lodge? Where's the registration? Do you know?
Lodge, regular one.
That one or that one?
Regular one.
Which one's the regular one?
Left.
Okay,
Okay,
it's not
yeah.
the one we go in normally. So.
Gotcha.
Oh. What up? This looks like a parking spot for us, huh?
What was that hand signal mean?
I think you thought we were leaving. But we're just gonna park it right here and run away before they can ticket us. Nice. Woo, we're here. All right, it's winter. It is winter, right? Burned.
Suits. Leave everything else. That's the button one. Yep. No, we're definitely not racing right now. Figure it out.
we have a lot of racers from CU, a lot of college contingencies, which is good. We'll see how they fare up against the pros. So we'll have 40 racers at this event.
We just had a meeting with all the athletes and the Pro Tour people, and it's really snowy out there, and it's supposed to be gusting up to 100 miles an hour this afternoon or this evening. So we kind of made an executive decision together that I think for safety and for fairness of the qualifier, we're going to push it to tomorrow morning. So we'll have to do it all in one day, which I think is fine. We've done it before, and yeah, like I said, for the quality of the race, I think it'll be better to come up in the morning.
So yeah, today was a little bit of a bummer. We just showed up here. We're going for the meeting before the race starts, and pretty windy. There's supposed to be 100-mile gusts coming up tonight in the middle of our race. So the main reason we're canceling is just because they'll close the road down. You can't get off this mountain after it hits 100. So we made the safety call for tonight. We'll bring the race up tomorrow morning. We'll start a little earlier, get the qualifying done, the round of 32 all in the morning, and then take a quick break and then get the real racing started. Schedule shouldn't change tomorrow, but bummer today. We all drove up here and a little quick turnaround, but it's just racing, Mother Nature, can't really change it. The only real problem with racing tomorrow is just getting tired. There's gonna be less of a break. You're gonna be doing 12 runs in a day instead of just the normal 10 that you do. So you'll be a little bit more tired, a little bit worn down, but like all in all, it's gonna be fine. Just the same old, just ski racing. Like everyone's in the same boat. We're all gonna be hurting, all gonna have fun. So just an update.
This is our third race of the season. We're at what I think is a really cool place. This is Eldora Mountain. Eldora Mountain has a rich history of pro racing. Not only pro racing, but developing some of the best ski racers in the world. One of the great things about being here at Eldora Mountain is Eldora Mountain is the home of the 20-time national champion CU Buffalo ski team. Because of that, we've got a number of NCAA athletes entering the race this weekend. So it's their opportunity to take on guys like Ted Ligety, two-time Olympic gold medalist, Garrett Driller, national parallel champion, and all the other guys that race pro week in and week out. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these NCAA racers do against the seasoned pros and do against World Cup and Olympic racers.
Everything's going good, despite conditions, everything is going well. Everything's working so far. Beautiful day. Another beautiful day here in Colorado.
The start of this race course in Eldora is very unique. If you look up the mountain, you will see the start house that was built for parallel racing. This is a pro race, so we wanted to add a little bit of time to the course. So the Eldora team built about a 20-foot very steep drop-in for the race course. We built the start to give them some more speed and lengthen the course a little bit to bring it up to World Pro Ski Tour standards. So we put 3 jumps into this course. One, the jumps are spectacular, so it's always good to have an extra one. But the hill had a couple of natural rolls in it, so the jumps felt really good to add in. The first 2 are massive, coming out of the really steep start that we added on. And then down at the bottom, we've got a smaller one that should be a crowd favorite because it's right near the start. You'll be able to see Ted Ligety just accelerate through those last 3 gates after coming off the smaller bump.
Yeah, right now we're in Boulder, Colorado. Race this weekend up at Eldora, which is just a few minutes up the road. Staying at a friend's house here in Boulder. So just kind of taking today to get myself ready, get the body warmed up, get the body activated. I got a puck in my foot playing hockey on Monday, so it's a little bruised. So I'm a little bit curious to see how it feels in my ski boot tomorrow, but I think it'll be fine, maybe just a little bit of discomfort. Just kind of went home for a little bit back in Toronto. Took a few days to rest. My body was a little bit sore after that steamboat event, just with the big jumps and stuff. And then got some workouts in, went up to the local ski club where I grew up, and I do some part-time coaching there with under 16 group. So it was nice to kind of get back into that rhythm and see them skiing again as they get into their race season. Steamboat was good. I was pretty happy with how I skied there. I was a little bit disappointed, obviously, with the way things turned out in the final there, crashing on the last run with the lead. But, you know, if I had 14 runs that day, I had 13 good ones, so there wasn't really much to complain about. Just unfortunate the way that it ended up. But definitely helps with my confidence coming into some of these next events. Yeah, I finished second in Steamboat. Rob Cohn won again. So that was a bit of a bummer. I was hoping to end his streak, but again, I'm pretty happy with second place. I think anything in the top 4 here with this field of guys is a success. All right. I'm sweating. We're gonna go down to the weight room downstairs. Could do a little dynamic warm-up, and then we'll get going on some weights. Yeah, when I was young, I kind of tried my way at a lot of different sports. I was fortunate enough that my parents were willing to kind of expose me to a lot of different activities. I kind of did them all. I mean, obviously, I focused a little bit more on skiing, but then I played a lot of hockey, played baseball a couple of years, a little bit of lacrosse. I did competitive diving for a little bit. Then I got bored of it, and then I did trampoline for a little while. So a lot of different sports, a lot to do with body awareness, and it obviously helped my skiing. I think I was 2 years old when my parents put me on skis. I had 2 older sisters, so usually when that happens, you get out there a little bit earlier than maybe some of the other kids. In Collingwood, it's kind of a different scene where most people who are skiing up there are from Toronto and maybe have like a second home or a cottage or something in the area. My grandparents both had a place, and that's where we would go on the weekends. And it's kind of like daycare, really, for your kids at that point, right? You put your kids in the ski racing program, and my parents would go out and ski and have fun with their friends. So that's really how we got involved in the sport. It was very organic. There was no pressures or anything from my parents to be a ski racer. It was a very family-oriented sport, and we made a lot of friends and connections through the ski area, and then obviously we were successful at it. Again, I think it was a really organic transition to kind of go into ski racing and choose ski racing over some of the other sports. Obviously, I was talented, so that helped kind of make that decision. But I guess around 14, 15 years old, you sort of have to make a choice in ski racing whether to put a lot of your effort into it versus some of the other sports, and that's what we did. I really liked the camaraderie, you know, kind of being a team-oriented sport, yet it's still very individual, and it's very much based on your own personal performance. Yet you still have a lot of people around you, including your coaches, you know, your physical trainers and stuff who are also trying to succeed with you at the same time. So I think that was something that really kind of drove me to push in the sport. And then obviously the kind of high intensity risk factor to the sport, I always kind of enjoyed that, and the high pressure situations. For me, a lot of training is about injury prevention. I I've had some like back issues and hip issues over the years, so now a lot of like the weights that I do, it's very like core and balance and single leg oriented. I'm not like loading too much on my back or anything like that. I still do every once in a while, but usually not before I ski because there's already so much torque and strain on the hill. So here it's just more about getting the muscles activated, getting everything turned on, making sure my core is working properly so that I can perform on the hill. Yeah, I think when I was 15 years old, so it was my first year in FIS, which is like the adult kind of level of racing. There was like a nationals, it was called J1 Nationals, which was just for 15 and 16-year-olds. But I was obviously the younger age, and I won the GS. At the time, it was a big success because that was really the first time we started racing against a lot of the guys from out west. We all came together for the first time at 15 years old. So I guess that was sort of a benchmark for me to kind of understand that, okay, you know, I have talents comparable to guys across the country. And if I keep working, I can, you know, stick with that and stay at a high level. So I spent 2 years with the provincial ski team when I was 15 and 16 years old. The program wasn't really giving me what I wanted to succeed, and my dad and mom and I, we kind of spoke and thought, you know, if we're gonna do this, let's find the right program and find something that we think is beneficial for me. So I actually ended up moving down to Colorado for 2 years to ski with a private team, this coach that was originally from Ski Club Vail, and then he took a group of athletes and kind of they did their own thing. So we skied a lot and we trained a lot. We did a lot of dryland training and stuff that was, when I look back, it's almost a little bit crazy. I think that year we did 75 races from, you know, October, November until the end of April. We just traveled and raced. And a lot of other teams and coaches were looking at us like we were a bit nuts, but my coach had the philosophy that, okay, these kids, they need to just learn how to race and be in the start gate without any worries. So when you race that many days in a row, you don't really care how you do, you just go and race and try your best. And then moving into that next year when I was 18, that's when the successes sort of started to show and started to pop out. And that's when I started making, you know, a name for myself on the NORAM tour, started lowering my rankings. And at the end of that season, I qualified for the Canadian team. Then I spent the last 9 years with the Canadian ski team. You know, ups and downs, injuries, had a lot of success on the NORAM tour, had some success on the Europe Cup tour where I was able to get a win and a podium, which was a huge accomplishment for me at the time. We had team event success at the 2015 World Championships in Beaver Creek where we got a silver medal, which is probably my biggest accomplishment. And then also at the Olympics, you know, just qualifying for 2 Olympics was really amazing, but I did what I wanted to do. I executed my game plans, and I think I can be proud of that. No, I think it's pretty common that, especially in North America, you know, the funding for ski racing isn't the same as, say, the Austrians or the Swiss or the Germans. And so the national ski organizations are kind of forced to be cutthroat because there's only so much money to spread around, and they have to choose who they want to invest in. Year to year, there's no job security whatsoever, which is something that I would like to see change, especially with injured athletes. And I think on the American side, they're starting to work towards that, where when athletes are coming back from injuries, they're giving them sort of a guaranteed, you know, 2-year window to try and get back to the level that they were before their injury. At the end of the day, it really just comes down to money, and that's unfortunate. You know, in a perfect world, we would have all the money where we could support everyone, but that's just kind of the way it is. And you know, hopefully with time we can change that by growing the sport. Yeah. I think with ski racing, the cool part about it is that it's very individual and you can perform however you want. There isn't really a recipe for success or technique. I think if you watch a ski race, you know, the ideas of what you need to do to get to the bottom the fastest are pretty simple. How your body does it is very unique from athlete to athlete. So I think that's one of the things that intrigued me about the sport. You know, you can kind of figure it out on your own. It doesn't matter what you look like or how you do it as long as you get down there faster than the next guy. Yeah, and then there's obviously that adrenaline factor to the sport that I was always inclined, you know, I was always attracted to. I like getting my heart rate up. I like feeling the nerves a little bit, where, you know, you have to be right on the edge of disaster if you want to be fast.
And then off the jump goes twisted in the wrong way. Brown strikes the gate. It throws him off balance, and he goes down.
I've always skied better with like a pretty solid workout. Like, I definitely want to get a good sweat going and put some effort in, especially with today having a full 24 hours before I'll have to ski, so I'm not overly concerned about fatigue. I don't know. I like, some people don't like to do too much. Yeah, personally, I like to work hard, and kind of gives me a little bit of confidence that I'm strong and I'm ready to perform. Expectations going into Eldora are to compete again for the podium. I think that's where I want to be. I always feel pretty good once I get to the final four. That's pretty successful. At that stage, you know, everybody's a strong competitor and anything can happen. So yeah, I think a successful weekend for me would be get into the top four and then be fighting for a podium. Try to, you know, gain some ground on Rob in the standings. I think in any sport, when you succeed, it's a great feeling. That just means that the work that you've done to get there, it's paid off. So there's a euphoric feeling there when you make it on the podium and accomplish your goals. I think a lot of athletes would say that that's, you know, what they're striving for, and it's addicting because, you know, the feeling of not succeeding, it hurts, but the feeling of succeeding is what really brings you back to race again.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Eldora Mountain for the third World Pro Ski Tour. It is a little windy today, but we're hoping it dies down a little bit and we'll be able to get some racing off.
The snow's perfect. The wind is a little wild.
So right after the race at Steamboat, we left from Steamboat. We came here in a camping car. So yeah, after this long time in a camping car, we are used to it. So it feels quite good, you know, easy. Like here in Eldora, we can park directly here at the ski resort. It's amazing. It's with the camping car staying on right at the parking lot in front of the slope. That's a kind of cool, you know. We go out, take the skis, and we are already on the slope. And it's also for me, it's like, you know, to build up like a feeling with the slope, with the resort.
It was for us a little also difficult to come here. Also about the money to make everything. But in this car, yeah, we feel good, yeah. Usually it's a big one for 7 people, and now we are only 2 people, so that's great, yeah. It feels good, but now it's also good. Now we are 40 days in this van. I'm happy to be in my home again.
And they're off. Right out of the gate, both of them charging. Kammerlander has that slight advantage.
The first 2 races of the season went pretty good for me. I ended up fourth at the race in Vail. So that was quite good for me, the first race. I was so excited and a little nervous, especially to get out of the start gate. That was something new for me. And then in Steamboat, it was a different hill, steep, big jumps. It was different, and I think I learned a lot. Like the other ones, I think they didn't expect that I can ski fast. So I was the guy with the chins. And for sure, many people, they thought, hey, what's this dude doing here? So, but then at Vail, it was the first race. It was not so easy for me. And at Steamboat, I think at the run we stayed. So I was fast in the first run, and then that was the first time that everybody saw that I can ski fast. And yeah, it's like a concurrent now. When my dad was racing, he had a friend from the United States, Tyler Milligan, and he came to the first races. That's my dad told me, with the chins, and I have this story in my head since I was a child. So, it's something different, Make it a little old school, make a show. And I think it's the important thing, make a big show out of the World Pro Ski Tour to build it up huge, and I think it's going to be great in the future. I feel pretty good for this race. I had excellent training the last days here in Eldora. Thanks to the guys from the ski resort. I would say it was for me like the first time really to train in a block, couple of days, focus on the training and to nothing else. And I'm looking forward to the qualifying. I think it's gonna be close, really close. So like the top 8 guys, they're all so close together. Everything can happen, and you never know. One mistake and it's over. So it's going to be a fight for sure. Looks amazing, the slope it's good, and yeah, the guys here from Eldora, they did an amazing job to build up the playground for us. It's like to race against the pros. I mean, like the Leever or Phil Brown, all the top guys. They are a name, they're a number. And at the Pro Tour, for me, it's so fair. Everything can happen, and it's all about skiing. It's so simple. You go fast or not. There's no politics in it, no nothing. And like to race at the World Cups, I was always with a high pip, one of the last guys, and the slope was messed up, so no chance. You got 2 to 3 seconds only of the conditions of the slope. And now at the Pro Tour, to race against these guys and to see how fast I can go and all the other ones, like, that's really racing, and that feels good. It's going to be a hard fight, for the finals, and yeah, the most important thing, a lot of fun, I think, for everybody. We had an excellent preparation training. Everything is building up, and I think, yeah, I'm ready for the race.
If everything going all right, he can make it really to maybe to the podium. This is our plan. The next is we go back to Austria. So my family is from Austria, and he have to race some speed events, so like Europa Cup, and hopefully everything is good. And after that we come back for sure, yes, to the East Coast.
you think a tin shed can hold up like a tough shed, you're in for a big surprise.
After 38 years, our buildings speak for themselves. Dream, design, and build at toughshed.com.
Straight and straddled through that gate off the jump. So unfortunately that's DQ, but I think I have a really fast run from the other course, so I should still be the number 1 or 2 seed.
Red course ready. Blue course ready.
Tight races today. Pretty exciting out here.
It was howling up there. Sometimes so much so that you could not see the snow. Thrills and spills with crashes and collisions. The wind and the visibility made it very challenging to stay on track. But the big upset of the day, 2019 World Pro Ski Tour champion Phil Brown gets knocked out in the round of 32 by Teddy Taki.
Another massive upset, U.S. Olympic and World Cup champion Ted Ligety getting bumped out by University of Colorado athlete Max Burvey by 18 thousandths of a second.
Oh man, I got bumped out in the first round, so that's the struggle. First round was good. Felt like I skied well there, and then barged the gate coming out of the start, and man, on a short hill like that kills you, and lost it by skin of my teeth, you know, 100th. So short day, that's for sure, but that's pro racing. That's what's like so cool about it is anything can happen. It's like it's a complete mystery, you know. Phil Brown, who was second to the last one, was on the first round too, so this is a giant slayer today, I guess.
Tough day for me today. Obviously disappointed with the end result. I really just couldn't find any feeling right from the beginning with the snow and the slope. I wasn't getting any speed. But I said it yesterday, you know, some of these college guys and different guys that we haven't seen on the tour, they've obviously been in this environment with the snow, and they're skiing at a really high level. So I wasn't surprised at all that some guys took out maybe some better ranked athletes.
Hey, welcome back to the World Pro Ski Tour. Here's a look at what happened in the earlier rounds today. Alex Leever and Teddy Taki completing the first 2 runs of the round of 16. Teddy Taki off that second jump, takes a crash, slides out. He was okay, but Alex Leever moves on.
Joe Young from Canada, also a CU Colorado buff, falls down, and Kammerlander just cruises to victory.
Next up, 3-time winner Robert Cohn at Santaniello. Santaniello interferes with Robert Cohn. Santaniello comes into Cohn's course, interferes with Cohn. Cohn goes down. Cohn gets the max advantage going into the second run, but he hit the ground hard there. All that wind really definitely creating some issues for the racers today.
And the same thing happened again. Linus walked from Austria, Cameron Smith. Cameron slides out into the walks course.
Luckily, both racers here were okay. Once again, interference. The way interference works, on the red course, Smith interfered with Linus's run. Now, Linus, since he was interfered with on the blue course, gets the max advantage going into the second run.
In the round of 16, the guy next to me, Cam, he just got a little late, went into my course, almost saved it, but it took me over, and then, kind of knocked me down. Got a little raspberry down here, but I'm all good. Like, that's panel, that's fun. It happens. As long as there are no injuries, it's fine.
So, yeah, just got knocked out by Noel Casper in the round of 8. Real tight race. Got it by 300 in the first run. He pulled ahead on the second. I just couldn't quite get it. This is a big bummer. Just broke the streak. Been podium every single Pro Tour so far. So big bummer on that. But no, happy, had fun. Great day out here. Turned out okay.
The courses there are super cool. They are so similar today. I think you can go on both courses. I don't know. I like it today. I feel good, and yeah, happy to go for some more runs.
The winner of the last 2 pro races, Robert Cohn, out of the gate first over the Bolivian bomber, Simon Kammerlander. Cohn keeping his lead from start to finish of this race. Kammerlander for a try, but no, it goes to Cohn. It was Kammerlander versus Cohn. Both very hungry, both wanting to get into that final round. Cohn touches down off that jump first. Kammerlander scrambling, trying to run it too straight, getting a little tossed around. Cohn railed it out there, but Cohn powering through down to the finish, and he moves on.
It was pretty close, so yeah, I'm sure for the next one it's gonna be good.
Yeah, next one he's gonna win.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Welcome back to Eldora, everybody, for the third stop of the World Pro Ski Tour, the Colorado Pro Open. Good to see Michael Ankeny, the veteran, and also the other veteran, Nolan Casper, making it to the championship rounds here today.
For this season, I'm really hoping to make it to the round of 4 in Vail. I got knocked out in the round of 8 to Garrett, who ended up getting second. So my goal is to make it to a round of 4 if I can, and then also just to make it to all the events. It has been a little tough to take some time off. I'd love to just stay involved with the tour and see it thrive and see it grow.
Yeah, headed up for the first run of the finals. Super stoked to be back in there. It's been just about a year, and you know, sometimes you just get in the state where you're flowing and it seems effortless. So hopefully I can keep that going. And Cohn's a great skier. It's going to be a good battle. Should be entertaining to watch.
These two in the start house here at Eldora for the Colorado Pro Open. This is it, the first heat of the 2-run final.
Ankeny fires like a bullet out of that start gate with a half a gate advantage over Cohn.
Cohn is playing catch up right now.
Ankeny a little bit crazy, but Cohn coming on strong, pulling back time on Ankeny.
Captain America is reeling the Joker in now.
Down off the final bottom bump, very close, a little bit wide, and Ankeny takes it at the line. What a close finish.
It does not get closer than that. 7 1/1000ths of a second.
And look at Ankeny, he knows it was close.
It feels right. Yeah, like I belong here, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, he's been a formidable opponent all season, so, but I feel like it's got to change sooner or later, you know?
It's a game of streaks. Sorry, Rob.
Michael likes to poke, but I think we're both just going to do the best we can here. We've done a lot of laps here, and we know how the course is running, so be balanced over the jumps, have good starts, and have a good final now.
Intensity, a lot of money on the line. Both of them want it bad. Gates open almost at the same time. Ankeny gets a little bit of a jump on Cone. Both gentlemen cross-blocking, trying to get close to the pole. Coming in, Cone gets a little sideways, and boy, almost comes to a stop.
And that's all it looks like it's going to take for Ankeny. He continues. He's been vibing all day, and these two all the way through the finish line. Ankeny goes to win Eldora, the Colorado Pro Open for the first time. He's on top of the podium.
And Ankeny has done it! Ankeny has done it! He's finally won his first World Pro Ski Tour race!
Day was awesome. Yeah, from the get-go, kind of just feeling myself today, you know? You get in the zone, and things were just clicking right off the bat. Had some really favorable matchups, which was huge, and then kind of just worked my way into the final, and you know, Rob and I were super close after first run, 7,000th of a second, and then he had a little hiccup second run, and was able to take my first victory in the Pro Tour, so I'm super pumped. Couldn't be happier.
Hey, it was a great race day. We started out with some real trying conditions. We had 90-mile-an-hour winds last night, but at the end of the day, the old guard of the tour came through. Robert Cohn, second place. He won the last three races, now second. Michael Ankeny coming off of finals in Waterville. I think 2 years ago was the last time that guy was on the podium.
His first ever World Pro Ski Tour win, Michael Ankeny! Jump up there, Michael!
Never had a step that far.
There he goes!